Hey, Brycey here, the Holistic Bee, and welcome back to part 3 of the constitutional body types. And if you're just joining us, the constitutional body types, as we see, like through the lens of herbalism and many other alternative wellness schools of thought, are important to know, especially personally, because they are guidelines to us understanding which herbs, practices, foods, different remedies, things like that are going to be the most complementary with us, aside of the considerations of medical diagnosis or medications, pregnancy, breastfeeding, etc. For example, in part 1, we went over the hot constitution. And if you have a hot and often dry constitution, then you probably want to avoid herbs that are also heating and stimulating, because they can further aggravate that heat one already has. So in parts 1 and 2, we've covered hot and cold constitutions. And this one we are covering damp constitution. And again, this is just a very, very general guideline. There's a lot more that goes into this, but I'm just going to list off 4 or 5 different expressions or characteristics of this constitutional body type. And it's pretty safe to say that if you are exerting any 2 or more of these expressions, you probably have a strong lead toward this constitution. And hey, I just want to add that even though I haven't explicitly spoken this in any of the videos until now, they are always, these disclaimers, reclaimers, whatever you want to call them, are always listed in my captions. All of this information provided is strictly for educational purposes only. It does not constitute medical advice, and I am not a doctor. As an herbalist, it is my job and it is my passion to help educate you, to help empower you, to be able to be that first responder when it comes to your wellness. And to have the knowledge not only to be that first responder, but to fortify your body's integrity so that when things do happen, they don't hit you nearly as hard as they probably would have if you're just walking through your life completely blind and ignorant and doing whatever you want willy-nilly without the knowledge or responsibility to act in the virtue of your own health and wellness when you need to. Now, I'm not going to be one to condemn conventional medicine. I think conventional and traditional medicine can be used together for better results than just relying on one form or the other alone. But also, unless it's either in the name of preventative care or if it is a true medical emergency, I personally think conventional medicine should be a last resort behind the knowledge, awareness, and response ability to respond with the knowledge of traditional medicine, because they don't call it traditional medicine for no reason. Conventional medicine was built from the foundational pillars of traditional medicine. Remember that. And before you go and say, oh yeah, and the white man stole it and colonized it, blah, 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 please do note that traditional medicine doesn't belong exclusively to indigenous folk. Herbal traditions can be found in every single culture across the globe. And if it truly originated anywhere, it originated with our fauna, with the wildlife of our world. Because a lot of what we started learning was through observation of the wildlife in our area. What berries were they eating? What leaves were they eating? What roots were they eating? And while for the most part it was a big hit or miss, we were able to follow them into finding a lot of what was good for us without too much trial and error, you know what I mean? Okay, so if you're still hanging out, without further ado, let's get into damp constitutions. Damp or dampness implies what? Wetness, moisture. And those with damp constitutions tend to be types that are retaining water, maybe have dewy or oily skin. They might be very mucousy, like a lot of bogies, a lot of stuff. These people might be a little slower to express themselves, and at the same token, be people who are more emotional, like weepy than others. Damp constitutions may also have tendency toward swelling or edema, as well as digestive issues like bloating or gas. So if you are a person that has any two or more of these expressions that I've just listed, it might be safe to consider that maybe you have more of a damp constitution. And herbs that tend to be complementary toward that damp constitution would be herbs that are a little more drying or astringent, tonifying, tightening. And we will get into very specific herbs later on in the series. But hey, if you stayed through this whole thing, awesome. Thank you so much for your time. It's been fun. Make sure to come back for part 4, where we talk about dry constitutions. And hey, it's been fun. See you later.